Things just got worse and worse and worse as the night went on. Again, valiant effort down the stretch for the Bucks. Just too little, too late. Let's go down and let's see what Coach Fletch and the rest of the crew has to say. And as always, go Bulls. So let's head into the locker room right now and see what the guys have to say about that one. Wow. Where do the Buccaneers go from here? What an incredible atmosphere. What a good win for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They snapped a 7-game winning streak. How we feeling, Bucs Nation? It's time to party, baby.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Recher podcast. Happy October 20th, 2025. It is a little bit of a weird show on a Monday because we're used to looking back and talking about the Buccaneers game, but it's a different one tonight because we know that the Bucs are in action tonight in the Motor City against the Detroit Lions. Should be a good one there. We'll start the show talking about players to watch for tonight. So what player, whether it's a member of the Bucs, whether it's a member of the Lions, which player are you keeping a keen eye on tonight? Feel free to put them there at the bottom of the screen with any of your other questions, comments, or concerns. Make sure if you want to chime in via the video chat, you can do that as well. The link is right here in the chat, whether you're on the phone, whether you're on the laptop. There it is, StreamYard.com/7CEMZMYCEH. Join in on the conversation to talk some Buccaneers. Of course, we'll talk about a multitude of topics, everything that went on in the sports world over the weekend. But of course, that first hour is going to be dedicated to the Bucs, what we're keeping an eye on tonight in that pivotal matchup against the Detroit Lions. Of course, we'll keep the conversation going with our pal Ian Beckles at 12:30 today. We'll also talk about, we said this about a month ago, October 20th, 2025, we were going to discuss Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. We'll do that at 12:20 today. We saw that coming a mile away. We thought that that was going to be a possibility. And we'll break that down at 12:20. After Ian joins at 12:30, we'll talk some USF and all the other college football games that caught our eye over the weekend. 1:15, we'll take a look at the NFL matchups, including that dreadful loss with the Giants, or whatever way you're looking at it. The other side, the incredible comeback by the Denver Broncos in the Mile High City yesterday. And then all the other things that went on over the weekend, including the back-to-back losses for the Tampa Bay Lightning, the Rowdies staying alive somehow, some way, the ALCS going to a Game 7 after the win by the Toronto Blue Jays at home last night, and a lot of other things as well. So again, leave your questions, comments, concerns below. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. Follow me at Recher. And make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel here. A big thank you to our partners, Honest Hammer Custom Builders, LLC, 813-244-0956, and EverHealth as well. Our EverHealth injury report every Thursday at 12:30 with the great Dr. Rodriguez. So really, really good stuff there. I am jacked up for the game tonight. Make sure, if you're not doing anything for the game tonight, you come check us out at A-Loft in Midtown. Ian Beckles running a nice party there tonight. Tony Mayberry will be there, Ty J. Armstrong, Mark Royals, the whole crew. You never know who's going to show up that is associated with our guy Ian Beckles. So we'll discuss that at 12:30 a little bit today. Let's get to some of these comments that you guys have here on the program. Benny, LFG Bucks, you're number one on the crew today. David Terry, Jay, between my Knowles, Bolts, and Liverpool, the Bucks are the only team keeping me from being in a rubber room. David Terry, I didn't mention it yet, but you know we're talking about that game at 1:30 today. Manchester United with a big 2-1 upset at Anfield over Liverpool. What a match that was. Janet Best, she's in the house. So is Eddie Harada. Good morning to everybody out there. Yeah, Basura. Carlos Baserva in the house. What's up, Jay? Let's go Tampa Bay. You know I was going to wear this jersey today. You got that right. The Bulls Soothsayer has arrived. Go Bulls. Robert Cochran, we'll get to you in a second. Greg DeCruz chiming in from Costa Rica. He's keeping an eye on Charlie Heck tonight and whoever plays right guard. Dolan, what's up, Jay and all? Happy Monday. What a wild weekend of sports. Greg DeCruz keeping an eye on that ALCS between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. Really cool to see Addison Barger hit a home run. A guy right here from the Tampa Bay area, King High School grad. Looks like Emeka is in play for tonight. Could be. I don't think he plays, though, and I'll tell you why in a second. I think we're seeing the really bad teams in the NFL show themselves. Bucs should look at Raiders, Dolphins, and Jets for possible trade partners. Yeah, but the Bucs are just not like that. They're just not like that, man. They're not big traders. If they were, one guy that I would love to see him get is Calais Campbell. Need help on the defensive line. He's a guy that loves Todd Bowles. I think Calais Campbell would be a nice veteran add. Not going to cost you much either. And put a $5 on tonight. Nice, Eddie. Honest Hammer, our guy. What's up, JFM? Me and my beautiful wife's 7-year anniversary. We get to fire the cannons with the Bucs and Seattle Game 7 LFG. Congratulations to our guy Hammer, our guy Russ, and his beautiful wife. 7 years married today. Just don't sneak up to him at a depot. I was watching it before. Don't be sneaking up to people saying you got a Sawzall blade on you. Don't be sneaking up on people, but we love Hammer, a huge part of our show. I couldn't do this without him as well. Do we need an invite to Aloft? No, you don't. Go on out there. Aloft, Midtown. Go out there. Go check us out. Come say hello. Everybody here, all the wrecking crew here for the Jay Recher podcast viewers. What's up, Jay Bird? Our guy, Bart Hill. What's up, Jay? I'm up 14 points and have Rashad White, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Laporta versus Kenny Walker and JSN. You think I got this W? I'm going to go yes. Because I think it's going to be high scoring affair. Bro, I was back and forth with my matchup, and I was going against Bo Nix and Christian McCaffrey. Killed me yesterday. Killed me. Not a great year for fantasy. Also, get your game predictions in as well. Greg DeCruz says Bucks 28, Lions 24. 13 years with David Terry and his lovely wife as well. Really, really good stuff there. Robert Cochran wants to chime in from OKC. I caught you mid-bite, brother. What's up? What do you got?
I just wanted to say once again, I was right with the score prediction. So
he's so humble, guys. He's so humble out there in Oklahoma.
I said 5 touchdowns. You thought I was crazy. I said 5 touchdowns.
Right on board, man. USF Memphis this weekend. How excited are you about that one, buddy?
It really just depends on if they have their starter Lewis playing quarterback. I feel like their backup Hill, he has the potential to be good. He's just very, very inexperienced. If it's him playing, it could get ugly. It could get ugly quick because our defense with Jalen Shuler, Mac Harris, Deshaun Rucker, they're unreal. This is the most fun I've had watching USF football in a very, very, very long time.
You got that right. I knew you were excited to rock the USF, and then you're going to the game tomorrow night, right, OKC?
Absolutely. We get to hang the banner with KD in the building, and he gets to see what he left. And there's no love lost between us and KD. So.
Yeah, that's true, man. But, hey, let's remember, a lot of teams lose on banner raising night. I've seen that to the Lightning and a bunch of people. So even if you guys lose tomorrow night, it don't even matter, man, because you'll be there. The guys will get their rings and you'll get the banner. I appreciate you calling in, brother. Have a great rest of your week.
All right, go Bulls, baby.
Yes, sir. Go Bulls. Robert Cochran always chiming in there from OKC. Bulls fans all over the place, man. The Bulls moving up to number 18 in the country. A big thank you to Eddie Harada for the $2 super chat. Thank you, Eddie. Couldn't do this without you guys. Appreciate you. Go Bucks is right. R.I.P. Dougie Fresh. Yes, very sad news that we saw that Doug Martin, former Buccaneer running back, has passed away. It's just pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy. It just seems like yesterday I was covering him in the Buccaneers locker room, and he had some incredible moments for the Bucks. 36 years young, and the Bucks said, "We're deeply saddened to learn of the sudden and unexpected passing of Doug Martin. From his record-setting rookie season in 2012 to his multiple Pro Bowl selections during his 6 seasons as a Buck, Doug made a lasting impact on our franchise. He was a fan favorite during his time in Tampa Bay and was honored as one of the top 50 Buccaneers of all time for his numerous achievements. We extend our heartfelt condolences to his family, friends, and everyone whom Doug touched throughout his life." He didn't love the muscle hamster nickname, but man, it really was one of the best nicknames I think in sports. But yeah, it just sucks, man. 36 years young. It really makes you think, man. It just, life is so precious. It's so fragile. And before you know it, it could be gone. I look at that and I look at these professional athletes that I covered, and man, I'm 40 and you look at these guys younger and it's like, man, you just don't know when your number is called. Your number is called. You just, man, that's why you have to be grateful. And any kind of like, issues that you have with friends and family members that are estranged, like, it's crazy, man. Just make up, and life is too short. One thing you can never get back is time, man. So don't waste it holding a grudge and harboring any ill feelings towards people, and have tough conversations and try to get to the other side. That's all I can really say. All right, Bucks, Lions tonight. I want to hear from you guys. Players to watch tonight. Players to watch. Who is your player to watch tonight? There you go. Who is your player to watch tonight? Bucks and Lions. For me, I'll start with Rashad White. No Bucky Irving again. Rashad been doing such a great job, but also helping, regardless of who's playing on the offensive line, what he's been able to do the last couple of weeks in pass protection. Rashad being able to get those carries, yes, that has helped out, and it's really helped balance that offense with Josh Grizzard and Baker Mayfield being able to throw the football. Let's not forget about the little things, too. Forget about those little things about him being able to, that don't show up on a score sheet, right? Picking up the blitz, making sure that you just chip a guy, or every little bit counts. That's why you got to love what he's been able to do. And Dave Velasquez saying Rashad White, Jamel Dean. Yeah, the two guys that a lot of people were trying to run out of town earlier this year. And now look at them. How vital are they to the success of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as they sit at 5-1 in the NFC South? And really good stuff yesterday to see that the 49ers beat the Atlanta Falcons last night. That certainly helps. Big time. Big time. Matthew Ferguson on Twitter says Charlie Heck. I know Greg DeCruz said the same thing. Charlie Heck. Yeah, I mean, we saw it last year with, was it last year or the year before? Whenever Aiden Hutchinson and Gedeke went down and Justin School had those issues. Like, we know how good that defensive line can be. And that's going to be the most important thing. We talk a lot about these injuries. The one thing that the Bucs have been able to do, even with this kind of makeshift offensive line, is keep number 6 upright. A lot of the hits he's taken, it's because he's been scrambling, not because the offensive line is kind of melted down. They have to continue to do that. It's going to be a very loud atmosphere there in Detroit. You're playing in a dome. The silent count is going to be huge. This is going to be a real challenge and a real test for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Eddie Harada, Stone Cold Baker is my player to watch. I hope you guys saw the picture that Eddie made of Stone Cold Baker. It's up on all of my social media platforms. Really, really good stuff there. I'm with David Velasquez on this one. When am I not? Right? Dave's all over it. Hassan Reddick to rise up. Now, for Hassan, these are the kind of games that you go and you get a guy like Hassan Reddick, because you're going to have to be able to stop the run. You need to turn Jared Goff and this Detroit Lions offense one-dimensional. Keep Jahmyr Gibbs from affecting the game, pounding the ball with David Montgomery. I mean, you'll be able to know throughout the game if Jared Goff has a lot of time, if Jared Goff is running that offense and it's firing on all cylinders, which we've seen the last couple of years, right? I mean, it's smart. It really play to your guys' strengths. Not enough teams do that in all sports. I thought Detroit's done a really good job once they brought Jared Goff in. Keep the pocket clean, run the football, play action, have his ability to scan all across the field, do the things that he does well, right? And put plays in, and we know Detroit, even if Ben Johnson's not there, end arounds, reverses, flea flickers, like they're not afraid to go in their bag with a couple of trick plays. So you have to be on your P's and Q's. You got to make sure that you recognize the keys, and you can't try to do somebody else's job. You can't over pursue. You can't play like a Devin White or a Joe Tryon Shoyinka. You just got to do your part. Stick to what works for you. And Hassan Reddick on one side and Yaya Diaby on the other, I mean, that's going to go a long way to tell whether or not the Buccaneers are going to have success tonight. If we get to the point where in the fourth quarter of the game and you don't hear Hassan Reddick's name mentioned, you don't hear Yaya Diaby's name mentioned, I mean, it could be a long night for the Bucs. you need that defensive line to really show up and make some big plays. I think it goes to the run coverage. I think Vita Vea has to have a strong game. You look at a guy like Elijah Roberts getting in there, holding up against the run. Logan Hall, right? It's the guys where maybe going into the game, everybody's going to look out and say, well, no, you got to stop. You got to stop Amon-Ra. And, oh, Mike Evans, could he possibly be in there? Emeka Egbuka, could he be in there? Yeah, but to me, it's the trenches. It's going to come down to the trenches. Try to limit the run game as much as you possibly can. Now, when you look at the wide receivers, as I just mentioned, I think Mike Evans will be in there tonight. I know he's a game-time decision, but I don't know if it's the smartest thing having a guy like Emeka Egbuka in there. You have a full week to get back in. When you look at this game, regardless of who the receivers are, do I think they have enough to win? Yes, but it's because you built that depth and because I think Mike is playing. Mike and Sterling and Tez and Kate Otten getting more involved, and whether it's a Ryan Miller or a Garrett Green, like this is the reason why you build up the depth. And this is why you see some of these other teams in the NFL, or pretty much in any sport, you deal with a couple of injuries and guys go down and you see a precipitous drop-off between the guys that are the starters and the guys that are the backups. You saw it last year with the Bucs. When they had injuries to Zion McCollum and Jamel Dean, and you're playing like Hayes and all these other guys that are special teams guys and not really starters, that's when you have issues. That's why you go out and you draft a guy like Benjamin Morrison. You draft a guy like Jacob Parrish, and you bring in a guy like Kendall Vildor. And last year, I know he was hurt, but you brought in a guy like Bryce Hall. Now you have that depth. So if you have an injury or two, you can fill them in with guys that are absolute NFL players and not backups really playing out of position. Ice Cube Jones, Bucs should absolutely win tonight. Regardless of who our wide receivers are, they should get open and allow Baker to have a nice game. Yeah, I don't like saying could or should or would. And especially in a game like this. Like, would I be surprised if the Bucs lost this game? No. And it has nothing to do with the Bucs. It has more to do with Detroit. Detroit's a good team, man. We can't take that away from them. And I think you look at when you're watching these games, I don't know if you're not worried right now. And I know what you're saying, Ice Cube. This is a huge game as far as winning the conference. It's not about that right now. You can't think about, we think about that on the outside. The Buccaneers are not thinking about that at all. They're not. They're thinking about Emeka Egbuka being healthy. They're thinking about Mike Evans being healthy. They're thinking about trying to win this game, this singular game. What happens and the ramifications of this game, they'll say it after the fact. And of course, like it's an obvious, of course it helps you. But they don't make decisions based on whether guys are playing or not playing. They're not going to put somebody's health on the line just to try to win the conference in week 7. It's just not something they're going to do. But when you watch this team play, this is going to be a battle. This is a no-holds-barred heavyweight fight between two of the best teams in the National Football League. Not just two of the best teams in the NFC, but two of the best teams in the league. You have to watch what Detroit does and try to take away. And I know the secondary is super banged up for them. But, I mean, we can't necessarily grade another good team based on their injuries because it's different for them. It's different for them. If you're playing a mediocre team and they have some injuries, like you saw with the Giants test against the Broncos. Paulson Adebo goes out. Javon Holland goes out. Their number one corner and their number one safety. And the guys that came in for them were cheeks, terrible. That's a big reason why Denver was able to come back and win. Detroit, when you have a good team and you've had a good team the last couple of years, like Detroit, like the Bucs, if you have a week like this, you're going to have guys that certainly aren't as talented, but they're going to be competent. They're going to be competent, and they're going to do the basics well. You could still win, and you could still exploit, but it's not going to be such a huge drop-off where it's like, I don't even know if that guy should be in the NFL. They're going to be coached well. They're going to not be put on an island. It may change the way that they, run their defense, but you're not facing a bunch of, Publix bag boys and UPS drivers out there, right? They're going to be coached up. They're going to be ready to go. So I don't look at the health of the Detroit Lions. That doesn't make me feel any better because we've seen the Bucs be able to round it out and be able to find a way to win against good teams, missing a whole heck of a lot of players on both offense and defense. And that's the defensive side of the ball. Okay, let's say they give up 35. These are the games the offense steps up and they try to score 40. And when you look at the rest of their offense, you look at Gibbs, you look at Montgomery, you look at Laporta, you look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, you look at Jameson Williams. Like, those are the guys you have to take care of business. This is another prove-it game for the Buccaneers. You win this game, bro, you're clear-cut the number one team in the league. And I'm impressed with the Colts. They're going on the road. They're beating teams too. But you look at this type of action, this type of game against a really good team in prime time. Think about this. You win this game tonight, you dispel some of the big myths about this Buccaneers team. The team can't win primetime games. They can't win that second quarter of the season. Remember after they went on the, oh man, here comes the slide after the loss to the Eagles. That didn't happen. I don't think, regardless of what happens in this game tonight, if they let me put it like this. If the Bucs win this game tonight, it just reaffirms, I think, what we already know, that they're one of the best teams in the league. If they lose this game tonight, I don't think it really changes my thought on the Bucs. If you lose this game and it's a tight game and you lose by a score, kind of it is what it is. You tip your hat, you move on. You're still 5-2. You're still in first place in the NFC South. I don't think it's the end-all, be-all. Now, you lose a couple of guys, and we're knocking on wood. You lose a couple of guys in injuries, then we're having a different conversation. But if you just lose this game and you go home and, let's say the Bucs lose 38-35 tonight, I'm not opening the show tomorrow like, oh, my God, all is gloom and doom. I still think they're in good shape. I really do. They've earned that. Nobody deserves that type of benefit of the doubt. They've earned it. And I like what Anthony had to say here. Even if we score 35-40, the Lions have the firepower and offense to keep up. This is defense's most important game so far. And it's not just about the offense. I mean, the defense is stopping them. It's about when they stop them. Getting off the field on third down. Maybe plays at the end of the half, at the end of the game. You can give up a crap ton of points, whatever. But make the stops when you need to make the stops. If you do that, you give yourself a really good chance to win. All right. Before we get to Ian Beckles and talk some more Buccaneers, I don't want to say I told you so, but we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, that on October 20th, 2025, we were going to have a discussion about Billy Napier getting let go by the Florida Gators. Did I really expect it after a win? Maybe I wouldn't go that far. It's kind of ironic, too, because the athletic director with the Seminoles saying Mike Norvell will finish the season at Florida State, then be evaluated. Yikes, dude. He's done there, too. He is done there, too. Billy out as the head coach of the Florida Gators. A 22-23 record. First Gators coach with at least 3 years on the job to finish below 500 since Raymond Wolf back in the late 40s. He was 0-14 in games against ranked teams away from Gainesville. $20 million buyout for Billy. Seemed like a good guy, but, I mean, this was just a matter of time. And we saw it last year. If they didn't go on that run at the end of the season and win some of those improbable games like they won last year against Jackson Dart and Ole Miss, this probably would have happened last year. You were just delaying the inevitable. And when they lost that game to USF, I think you started to see, all right, here we go. Because there was no excuse anymore. It wasn't like, well, DJ Lagway was here. He got that chance. Start the season. All right. No Mertz. It's you. Lagway, start the show. Get ready to roll. Got a good running back. You got some good players on Florida Union. You're always going to be able to recruit well. But I know a lot of Gator fans are happy today because it was his time. You need now, you're the Florida Gators. You need to go out there and you need to hit not just a home run, but a grand slam with this next hire. Now, when you look at the day and age that we're living in with the NILs and the transfer portal, it's tough for certain teams to dominate, but I also think when you have big financial boosters out there and all this money, and you have the pedigree of a place like Florida, you should be able to go out and get a guy to be able to transform your program to put you back to the top of college football, where the Gators, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, college football is better when Florida State, and Miami are competing. Like the fact that Miami was up there and then they lose to Louisville, just awful. That's an awful loss. 4 interceptions for Carson Beck. All those people that said they didn't believe in Carson Beck, they were proved right in that matchup on Friday against the Louisville Cardinals. It was the same thing that happened with Florida State against Virginia, but Miami was at home. I mean, what the hell, man? What are y'all doing? So now the Gators, Florida State, again, they'll probably get rid of Norvell, and then Miami in a position where it's like, now what? Do they bounce back? I hope so. But the sport is better when those teams are good. And if I'm the Gators, I'm big game hunting. You have to nowadays. You can't get a guy. I don't want to see Summerall from Tulane. You got to go out there and get a big name. Go out there and do whatever it takes to get Lane Kiffin. And speaking to one of my friends over the weekend, who is actually a big contributor to Ole Miss, the stuff with Ole Miss, and I saw like about his daughter or something like that. Like, from what I'm hearing, that has nothing to do with it. Like his daughter's going to be there regardless. I mean, he's going to do his thing. He's not spending a bunch of time with her anyway. He's focused on coaching football. So whether that's there or whether that's at Gainesville, she'll be fine. You're not disrupting the family dynamic there. He's spending all his time coaching there at Ole Miss, and they just obviously with a big loss for them as well. So they're no longer undefeated. But that's a big job, man. It's a big job. Now, do you bring in James Franklin? I wouldn't bring in James Franklin. And I said this last week talking about him and his inability to win the big games. You go on national TV that weekend and Nick Saban, it's like a travesty. He says, "Oh, it's a travesty. I can't believe that they would get rid of this guy." Listen, the reason why Nick Saban is Nick Saban and he's not James Franklin, Nick Saban went on the road, and Nick Saban won games on the road in the SEC. Nick Saban won conference championships. Nick Saban went out there and won national championships. You can't compare it to everybody else. Once you get to a certain point at a school and you're just there and you're just knocking on the door and you're knocking on the door and you're knocking on the door and you're never getting into the room, eventually you got to go out and get somebody that's going to get you into the room. You're not comparing them to just any coach. You're comparing them to the elite of the elite. And when you're a school like Penn State, you think in your mind at State College, like, we should be vying for national championships. Not for, oh, well, if we don't play Michigan or maybe if we lose to Ohio State, and you have to do math every year. You got to go out there and win. So James Franklin, what you did at Penn State, if I'm a Florida fan, I don't have faith that he's going to be able to do it at Florida. He just had to deal with, for the most part, Michigan, Ohio State for the last decade. And then, oh, yeah, what happened? Now Oregon's in the conference. Now Indiana's waxing people. Now you're like, all right, you're the 5th best team in the Big Ten, the 6th best team in the Big Ten. Bro, what do you think is going to happen in the SEC? Kirby Smart's not going anywhere. You're going to have to deal with Georgia. Alabama with another big win. You're going to have to deal with them, and Tennessee and Ole Miss and Oklahoma and Texas. Like, I don't have any faith that a guy like that is going to go to Florida and then all of a sudden they're going to get to the top of the mountain. He doesn't know what it takes to even get to the freaking mountain. He hasn't even made it to a national championship game. So to think that James Franklin is the guy to go to Gainesville and to like make everything, bro, he had all the resources in the world in the Big Ten. He was 1-10 against Ohio State. He lost his last 3 to the Michigan Wolverines. He's not Kurt Signetti. He's not Dan Lanning. He's not some of these coaches where it's like, maybe if he's in a different place and doing, bro, did they develop any? When's the last good quarterback to come out of Penn State? Kerry Collins? Come on, man. And for the whole John Gruden thing, we're gonna table that one. We're gonna table that one because I want to ask my guy Ian Beckles about that because I think it's a terrible idea. I think it's an awful idea. But you know, it's easy. You know who the sexiest coach is? The one that's not coaching. oh, that guy's going to be good. Why? Because he's not coaching right now. That should tell you something. He's not coaching right now. All right, let's bring him in for his weekly visit. It's the great 20th century philosopher Ian H. Beckles. Remember, tonight, Aloft, Midtown. We'll be watching the Bucks and the Lions game. I'll be there in about the second quarter after my practice is done. Make sure you go check them out. Ian, Tony Mayberry, Mark Royals, Ty J. Armstrong, and you never know who the heck else is going to be there. What's going on, my brother? How are you?
Chilling, bro. Just enjoying your show. That's it.
All right, Gruden, Gators.
I mean,
no way.
You know how I feel. You know how I feel about.
No,
Gruden.
I know, but just aside from that, like, bro, with all this stuff, he's got this nice cushy gig with Barstool, and you know how this is. These coaches, they go through the ringer, and then they go on social media, or then they're on these shows like Belichick last year, like Nick Saban right now, like Gruden now, and all these guys. Everything they say is right. They're the darlings. They're the belle of the ball. But you know what they're not doing? They're not coaching. They're not coaching. And that, to me, takes years off these guys' lives. And I think it's more of a fun thing for people to talk about. The last time he coached, it wasn't good. There's been a lot more bad football we've seen from John Gruden over the last 15 years of him coaching. I mean, that Buccaneers Super Bowl is farther and farther away. Other than the name value, I just don't see how that works.
Well, I think if you would have told me 20 years ago that Bill Belichick was going to take over a college team and they were going to look worse, I would be like, that's no way. I mean, he knows so much football that's impossible. It's a different day, Jay, okay? Belichick probably would have succeeded in college 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Saban can't even succeed now. How is John Gruden? If there's certain things we know about John Gruden, one thing we know that he's not overly popular. We have to agree with that, right? Because you've heard people, teammates, everybody speak against him. How would he exist in today's college? It's not going to happen. Like, these players don't want to be with somebody who's going to check them every 2 seconds and be Jimmy asshole. They want to be comfortable. I don't think John Gruden works today, personally. I don't.
The only people that really vouch for him are the people that he won a Super Bowl with, right? Because then
Well, Jay, a lot of those people that he won a Super Bowl with, I'm personal friends with. And they don't speak like they speak in the media when they speak of him. And this is the long and short of it, okay? Pick any name. If you ask somebody a question about John Gruden and they don't like him, and they speak out against him, they're going to be crucified. Right. What's he complaining about? He won a Super Bowl. It doesn't mean that John Gruden's a good person. It doesn't mean listen, there's nothing that can be said to take away his Super Bowl. Nothing. But if people ask me specific questions, ask me, is John Gruden a great offensive mind? Maybe the best I've ever seen. Ask me if he was a good person. Not to me. So it depends what you want in a coach, I guess.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And speaking of coaches, we got a couple of good ones tonight, man, with Todd Bowles and Dan Campbell. You couldn't get guys that are more different, with Dan Campbell going crazy and Todd Bowles and very stoic on the sideline. But, man, two good teams tonight. Beck, a lot of people are saying, oh, man, full backups in the secondary for Detroit. Why does it matter less for a good team? And I said it before just because I feel like they coached up well. I think the depth is there. You have guys that aren't, terrible. They're not UPS drivers. They're just competent. They're just not as talented. But can you expound on that a little bit more, where this isn't, even though, they're going to be a bunch of backups in tonight, why this doesn't automatically mean that the Lions are going to lose? Because I just feel like they're coached up better.
Well, first of all, you compared Todd Bowles and my guy Campbell. You said they're polar opposites. I think their personalities are polar opposites, but I think if you understand the philosophies that they teach will be almost the same. Mm-hmm. Show up, work hard, be accountable, little things. Most coaches have that. And if you're a Buccaneer fan, how can you make your mouth say, we're going to beat them because they're injured? Watch yourself now. Because are they more injured than us? I don't know about that, dude.
Right.
I think we're more injured than anybody else in the league. So if it's just about being injured, the Bucs would be 1-5.
Right. Yeah, no doubt about it. So I look at this team. I think it's going to be a heavyweight matchup. And the key tonight, Beck, to me, is the Buccaneers stopping the run and turning Jared Goff one-dimensional. What say you?
Well, we've talked about, this offensive line and how they succeeded despite them not playing well. They haven't, individually, they've had some good players, but as a whole, this offensive line has not been good. And we talked about why Kate Otten hasn't touched the ball as much, and he's been touching it more lately. You might not even Kate Otten might come out with a 70s jersey today, because you know what's the bad matchup is Heck against Aiden Hutchinson all game long. If I was the Lions, I would never put Aiden Hutchinson over Tristan Wirfs. Never. I would put him on Heck all game long. You better send somebody over there, or else it's going to be a 4-sack game, which he's had not too long ago. But it takes away from your offense. So let's see if that affects the game or not.
What about the other side?
Well, I'm not really scared of anybody just jamming the ball down the Buccaneers' throat. I mean, I've seen some teams have success, but never to the point like they can't stop them. I don't remember the last time I've seen that, to be honest with you. So it's going to come down to the play calling. The Lions like to run on first down, second down. I don't know if they could do that against the Buccaneers. I just don't think Vita Vea is going to allow them to push him around all game long. And when you come out 2nd and 10, this Lions team is one of very few that will still come out and run the ball. So you're right. I mean, everybody wants to talk about quarterbacks and receivers and who's hurt, but that interior line, man, that's when the games are won. And I don't know if we get the nod against the Detroit Lions. The Lions are really, really good in the trenches on both sides.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to get your opinion on this too. I said in the open, like, if the Buccaneers win this game, it just reinforces the fact that they're one of, if not the best team in the NFL as of right now. If they lose this game back and it's close, I don't know if it really changes how I feel about the Bucs. Like, I don't think it's anything that, if they lose this game and it's a close game, you're on the road against one of the best teams in the NFL, not just this year, but for the last couple of years. They're well coached. I mean, if they lose a shootout tonight, 41-38, and again, knock on wood, nobody leaves with injury, I just go, hey man, they battled. You're not going to win them all. You're still 5-2, and you're still in first place in the NFC South. I don't know if you could say that about every single game, but I look at this one and I go, hey man, this you go up there and win. I think it means a lot. But you lose this game, I think you just kind of rebound and you get ready for next week.
Well, win or lose or draw, one game doesn't really mean anything ever. We just make it mean a lot. If you look at the narrative around the NFL every single week, okay, if you're a New York Giants fan, I'm sorry, it's too soon, but if you're a New York Giants fan, you guys came this close to thinking that you're turning things around, okay? But it's literally it's like 3 millimeters left or right, and you would have been turning your season around, and you would see the future, and you can see these young kids. Instead, look at this 3 millimeters, Jay. Instead,
I'm looking at you.
Y'all pooped on yourself, and now you're going to say, what now? So it's just, if the Buccaneers lose to the Lions, they just lost to a good team on the road. That's all. If they beat the Lions, they've already proven they can beat anybody. So it'll just go along. But if they beat the Lions in Detroit, there's no doubt in my mind right now the Buccaneers are playing the best football in the NFL. No doubt.
I stopped listening when you said Giants, to be honest with you. No,
I'm sorry. Jay, I apologize. I went to sleep at the beginning of the fourth quarter thinking, Ponzo, he's not feeling so well. He just had a procedure. I was thinking he's going to feel better about himself. And I woke up thinking, man, I hope Tom didn't watch that, because that was an awful looking. And I was listening to some Giants fans on Instagram breaking it down, and they're going batshit crazy. And understandably.
Yeah, I think the big thing, too, is it was the depth, right? They lost their starting corner, Adebo. They lost their starting safety, Javon Holland. And the guy that came in, Drew Phillips, he's not even looking at the ball. There was such a drop-off. And it reminded me last year when the Bucs had injuries and Josh Hayes came in and he didn't know what was going on. And we're like, what the hell? And your depth, man, you got to build up your depth, because when you don't, you have some top-end guys, and then it's such a big drop-off, and you're not even coming close to being successful in the National Football League. It is what it is. It is what it is. Still with a rookie quarterback, it is what it is. But tonight, I'm excited about this game. Is there anything that overly concerns you about this one against Detroit?
Once again, if they lose the game, we're still in the driver's seat. We'll still feel good about ourselves. We have some excuses in our back pocket. But football's about matchups, man. It's not college football where you're going to go out and win every game, okay? Kansas City, if I would listen to everybody after week 2 in Kansas City, they're done. They're done. This is it. They finally hit. Now what? Now what's the narrative right now? Do you think anybody wants to play Kansas City right now? Not I.
No.
So we overreact every single week, but that is why the NFL is beautiful. Nobody overreacts in week 6 of the NBA or the NHL or any other league. Okay, so the NFL is one of those leagues where every single week that game is important. And even if you're 2-5 and you win a game and you're 3-5, you're like, oh my God, we win one more game. So it's such a big difference between being 9-8 and 10-7, and 12-5. It's huge. It's hard to show up 12 times out of 17 weeks for anybody.
Just got the unfortunate news yesterday, Beck, that Doug Martin passed away, 36 years young. I know he hated the nickname Muscle Hamster, but man, he had a nice little run there with the Buccaneers, and kind of crazy, huh, man? A guy that's, not even 40 years old yet. And I think that was Jerome McCoy said something about like 6 teammates of his have already passed away. I think 4 from that 2013 team. I mean, life comes at you fast, man. But what can you say about the Muscle Hamster?
Well, it seems like too many former Buccaneers are passing, unfortunately. I never met Doug Martin. I was friends with Vincent Jackson. We were on air together when we found out about that. I was friends with Mike Williams. Mike Williams was here at the Dignitary Cafe with Heavy Lyrics and Chris Streets, often messing around. Nice dude, real quiet. I think it was the 3rd time I met him. And I said, Heavy, what's up with that dude? And he goes, that's Mike Williams. And I go, what? The receiver? Like, I didn't even know who he was. So quiet. He was just to himself. So that was a travesty. It's obviously a travesty if you lose anybody this early. But I have to say this one didn't shock me. It didn't shock me because, while he was playing and afterwards, I've heard rumors of him playing, like, living hard, you know? Yeah. And when you live hard, you die hard. And, while he was playing, and he had some success, but I think he left a lot of success on the field because I don't think he was completely dedicated. Because I was hearing stories of, Doug's in the Kennedys throwing up on Friday night and doing this. And I know some people saying I used to deal this and that. But I feel bad for him because I know there's people around him who miss him. But there's probably people around him that aren't shocked. Okay, and listen, they had a reunion the other day, and I heard, I'm not going to bring up any names, but there's some other people saying, "Well, you see that dude? Like, I don't know. It's football. You can go a lot of different ways, and there's a lot of bad habits are happening in between those little those groups of people. It's scary and it's sad because it's just too damn early, man. How much of his life did he not get a chance? He didn't get a chance to even enjoy his retirement, to be honest with you.
Right. Yeah, it's a good point. And now it's, they're saying that he passed away in Oakland police custody. So I don't know if this is going to be one of those stories that we're going to really enjoy hearing about the ramifications and kind of the details of everything.
It's not going to be good regardless. The details aren't going to be good, unfortunately.
Yeah, I wanted to get your opinion on this. We could have saved it for Wednesday for our Beckles and Recher podcast, but I wanted to ask you now. Travis Hunter last Sunday before the game got baptized at church, and Skip Bayless came out and said that this shows that he's not dedicated to football and this and that. I mean, Travis Hunter has not really jumped off the page. Like, he hasn't been a storyline at all, really, in the National Football League. He's been much more of a story before the draft, during the draft, but really, I mean, he's not playing a ton on defense. They're not really looking his way all that much on offense. Like, he's just learning the game. But I just thought it was something like this where nobody within the organization was complaining about it. He wasn't late. But I wanted to get your opinion on, is this just another talking head speaking out of his ass?
I don't know why people are still listening to Skip Bayless personally.
I'm with you.
I mean, and listen, I don't dislike anybody in the media. I don't care. I don't care what they say. But why would anybody listen to Skip Bayless about somebody being dedicated in the locker room? Like, in all due respect to Skip, if Shannon Sharp said that, it would offend me more because he's been in the locker room. And I would say to Shannon, if even Shannon Sharp said that, I would say, well, you got to take care of your own business, man. I mean, everybody has a hierarchy of importance. Right. Some people, I've heard Tony Dungy say religion's more important than football. It's not in my life, but I'm not going to hate on him for making that a priority. So as long as he showed up game day and he wasn't late and he did what he was supposed to do and he was accountable, what the hell difference does it make? So if he went to Arby's before the game, it would be worse than getting baptized. I mean, come on, man. If he was a guy at the end of the roster nobody would be talking about this. There's something about Colorado players and Deion Sanders that makes everybody talk about every little thing. Because everybody will say, well, Travis Hunter's not having a great year. He's a rookie. Right. How many rookies are having great years? You know, the fact that he's out there starting on one side and playing on the other side, that's pretty successful to begin with. You're good enough to play on both sides of the ball as a rookie. I'm impressed.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I look at it, and you and me are the same. Like, I don't think we're like overly religious guys, but like if you're doing something like that and you're going and you're trying to make like yourself better and you're trying to make your life better and you're trying to live by a strict set of guidelines that put you in a position to make better decisions on and off the field, like I may not follow that same type of guideline, but good for you, man. If people are out there trying to better themselves and trying to be a better, you know, whether it's a better Christian or a better like member of our society, like shit, man, if you're not taking away from what you're doing professionally, who the fuck are you, Skip Bayless, to say some shit like that? Because all you're doing is talking shit about professional athletes. Like that's what you're known for. Terrible takes and talking shit about guys. Like, let's not forget, and who was it? I think it was Stephen A. that said it. You will always be the supporting actor. You will never be the main star. Because if there was no sports, you wouldn't have a job. Sure. So remember where you are in this entire situation. I just thought it was so classless. And again, just another note of like, why do people still give this guy a platform? It's because he's got a following, and it's because he's done it. And he's doing these things with other NFL players, and it's like, bro, you don't prop him up. You prop him up, it just makes things 10 times worse.
But Jay, this is par for the course, though. I mean, this is what he's about. I mean, it's not like this is out of character. And you know, I've been on the radio for a long time and talked about a lot of people, and I try to use the same mentality. I try not to get personal until it's personal. Mm-hmm. Like if I don't like somebody, like John Gruden. People are like, why are you picking on John Gruden? I go, because I know him and I don't like him. Why don't you like him? I go, because I know him. So this person doesn't know John Gruden, but telling me that I'm wrong for my opinion, and they've never met him. So I tell people, don't like him. So what's coming out of my mouth really is not about me not liking him. This is my assessment. But Skip Bayless seems to be a hater to me. Like he seems to have been the guys that didn't like the athletes in high school, and you know, just I wish I was tall. And that guy, he just seems like that guy to me. I'm not a fan.
No, me neither. Indiana wins over Michigan State. Any issues with that? I mean, nice and cool, calm, and collected. You got an interesting matchup coming up against UCLA this week. UCLA was winless, and then they've gone on a little bit of a run here. These are one of those games where you should win, but you never know, man. That's why you go out there and play the game. How are you feeling about your Hoosiers right now?
Well, Jay, it's I don't know how long we've known each other, but I'm watching the Hoosiers, okay? Mm-hmm. And I did something Saturday that I shocked myself.
Uh-oh.
I looked at their schedule, and I looked at Michigan State. And I go, that's not going to be a problem.
Right.
Never did that before, ever in the history of Indiana. Never. UCLA doesn't scare me. I mean, they could lose, but I've watched all the games. There's no reason why Indiana loses to UCLA. And I mean, they trounce people on the road, at home. Now, Penn State on the road, that's always funky, okay? So, but, you know, losing your coach and all those kind of things, I still like Indiana. And then at the end, they got to play Purdue, which is the old Oaken Bucket, but I don't know, man. I don't like to be overconfident, but my team is making me overconfident. They're making me overconfident because everybody that watches them going, Jesus. Like, it's not like, hey, your boys got lucky. It's like, damn. Like, them boys is flying. And Signetti, right now, as we stand, is the best coach in football right now.
Is college or pro?
College.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and he signed that extension, man. That had to make you feel good, too. He ain't going nowhere.
Well, you know how much easier it is, Jay, to recruit kids when you ain't going nowhere?
Yeah, exactly.
It's way easier. It's going to be beautiful. Next year, you're going to see top picks going to Indiana, and I don't know if that's ever happened before.
You have more faith that Indiana makes the championship game or the Bucks?
Oh, I bet on Indiana.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, make it into the Super Bowl, bro. In the 6th week of the season, The Indiana's played a lot of football already, and their path is not going to be the same as the Bucks' path. The Bucks' path is not going to be. Listen, this is how the NFL goes. Bucks could lose 4 more games this year, maybe 5. Okay, that's how the NFL goes, man.
Right,
It happens every single year. You count a team out, they always come back, or one team looks like they're rolling and they poop it at the end of the year. College is a little different because it ain't an even field. Okay, when they play Northwestern, it ain't even. It's not even. I mean, Indiana is more talented. And hey, listen, I'm saying that because I used to be on the other side.
Right.
When we played Michigan, and they full of blue chippers over there, and we're a bunch of hard-nosed, hard-working short cats. So, Michigan's offensive line, Michigan's linebackers never look like Indiana's. They do now. Indiana's players look like everybody else's players in football, and it helps.
What did you think of James Franklin at Penn State and getting rid of him?
I don't know where he came from. I don't know much of him. I do know this. You can't go to Penn State and do that.
Yeah.
Like, if he went to Indiana and did exactly the same thing, he would have signed an extension.
Mm-hmm.
But that's Penn State. Okay?
Right.
There's probably 6 teams that if you go there, national championship has to be mentioned. Indiana's not one of them. Penn State is one of them. And, people were saying, well, what if Signetti goes to Penn State? And I looked at him, I said, and do what? Look at Joe Paterno statues.
Mm-hmm.
I go, if he goes to if he stays in Indiana and wins a national championship in Indiana, there'll be Signetti statues. There'll be Signetti street signs.
Mm-hmm.
He could do whatever the hell he wants. If you go to Penn State and succeed, they'll go, they've done it before. Indiana, to me, is one of the best places in the nation to succeed because ain't nobody ever done it before.
History has something to do with it, right? When you talk about, coaches and things like that, because I think I was right in the assessment of eventually you can't be the bridesmaid anymore. You got to be the bride, right? And if you're at a place that has a history of winning, you can't really relate to that if you're a Boise State, right? But if you're a team like, let's say, Notre Dame, and you're constantly knocking on the door, but you never get over the hump, eventually people are going to look at you and say, yeah, you've done this, but Alabama's another place like that. Florida's a place like that, right? Yeah. So you have to be able to win certain places. I mean, I think that's certain. And you look at Mike McCarthy, 3 years in Dallas, right? Pretty good record, pretty good regular season record. Doesn't get to a Super Bowl. It's different there. It's different with the Lakers, different with the Yankees. Before I let you go, I want to ask you about the Florida job. And is it still the same thing? Is it still the same, high caliber job? And do you think they should go big game hunting, or do you think they should go for maybe a guy at a smaller school to try to do things the right way?
I hate giving those answers because, high profile, Bill Belichick's, stink. And then sometimes you bring in a guy you've never heard of before and he becomes Signetti. You know what I'm saying? When Signetti came in, I'm like, from where? Mm-hmm. I think he's from a little school in Miami, Ohio, something like that. I don't know. Have you met him? I know I have not. I've been to one game last year. I never got a chance. I would love to meet him. Yeah. But you don't know. Like Tony Dungy was nobody before he got here. Then he's somebody. John Gruden bounced around until he won a Super Bowl here. Then he's somebody. So do you go get a big name or do you go get an up and coming guy? Tony Dungy was an up and coming guy, and he brought another 8 up and coming guys on his coaching roster, and it probably ended up being one of the best coaching staffs of all time. So, listen, Florida is a top-notch school. If you win in Florida, you're God. But, Indiana, somebody said, well, Indiana's a football school now. I laughed, and I go, Indiana will never be a football school, and Florida will never be a basketball school. Mm-hmm. Never. It's never going to happen. People could like it, but you can't be both. I was talking the other day, how many schools in the nation can say they're both? Michigan, maybe Ohio State, both. Ohio State's not a basketball school. Michigan, maybe. No. Ohio State's not.
I don't think both? So. I don't think there is any.
I think you have to give to Michigan, don't you?
No, Michigan football, man. The big house, they have 100,000. Yeah, it's different.
Michigan basketball has history, though. They got history.
They do, but it's not the great. I mean, national championship, you give it to Ohio State. You know what I mean? You talk about history. I mean, the best recent history is Florida winning back-to-back basketball championships, but I still wouldn't say they're a basketball. So I agree with you. I agree with you.
Absolutely not.
Like,
You know why they're not a basketball school? Because both my daughters went there, and I go, "Can you get tickets?" She goes, "Yeah, sure." You know what I had to do to get tickets in Indiana? I had to go to a player and get a ticket from a player, or else I didn't go.
right.
It's just a lot of old, white, rich people in those stands. There's no students there. That's a basketball school.
I mean, think about the basketball schools versus the football schools. Like top of the dome basketball schools, you're thinking Kentucky, Kansas, Duke,
Mhm.
North Carolina, UCLA, Indiana, right? Like,
Yeah.
and while some of those teams do have good, I mean, even I look at how good Alabama and Auburn have been in basketball the last couple of years. Really good. They're football schools. They're always gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like you're dabbling.
It's too
You're
far
dabbling.
away. But Alabama football is too far away from the basketball for you to ever catch up. It's impossible.
It's such
Indiana's
a
not.
race.
Indiana could win 8 national championships in football in a row and not be basketball.
You do that, we might have to have a different conversation because you might get a couple of Indiana tattoos after that.
You don't want that. You
Nah.
don't want that.
The plumage will be out, brother. The
Yeah,
plumage
man.
will be out. Dignitary Cafe, 4817 Southwest Shore Boulevard. Go check them out. Best Kava and Kratom in town. We'll have our Beckles and Recher podcast on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Beck, let everybody know again what's going on tonight at A-Loft there in Midtown.
Yeah, for all you Buccaneer fans looking for a place to watch that Lions game.
Do you need an invite? Do you need an invitation?
No, man. Everybody's
Somebody was
welcome.
asking.
A-Loft Midtown. It's right there in Midtown, little circle. It's a beautiful hotel. Sally Mar is above the hotel. It's a rooftop. They got a nice pool area. They got a nice restaurant up there. And we're going to watch the game, bring some big screens, be outside, be inside. And come hang out. The game's at 7. And there's going to be some of my former teammates here. There's going to be some Bone talent. And it'll be fun. It'll be a good time.
Is Bert going?
I think Bert's going with his wife.
Oh, that's right. He is bringing his lovely
You get
wife.
to meet Bert's wife.
Wow. We need to tell her that she deserves a holiday or something with Bert.
Oh, no, she's got 2 or 3 already. I already gave them to her.
Oh, my gosh. It should be fun. Again, A-Loft in Midtown. We'll be there tonight. I'll be a little late because I got practice, but I'm going to come home and shower after, and I'll head up there and watch the rest of the game.
Yeah, wash your ass.
Wash ass. Ian
Wash
_
ass.
Beckles on all social media platforms. You can check him out. And again, Beckles and Recher every Wednesday at 3 o'clock. He joins us every Monday at 12:30 here on the program. Beck, appreciate your time. I'll see you tonight, brother.
All right, Playboy.
Oh, wait. Did you get my delivery?
Jay, I swear. First of all, you're a dick. Okay? I looked at these. I got a package with napkins.
Okay, hold on. Let's set it up. So the other night we're playing poker, and I have my drink right on the poker table, and Smokey the cat comes by, and I go, no, and Ian goes, get down from there, and then as soon as, boom, turns, the drink knocks everywhere. Totally my fault, not Smokey's. So we're getting rags. I take like a handful of napkins off the bar, and Ian's like, you know that. What'd you say? We
gotta pay for those napkins.
He's like, I pay for those napkins. You know, paper's worth a lot more cloth nowadays. And I'm like, here we go. This guy, we're pinching pennies over at the Dignitary Cafe.
Nah, you gotta pinch pennies.
Pinch pennies nowadays. Okay, so me feeling as bad as I did that night, I went on Amazon and I ordered 1,000 napkins. But I didn't just order the napkins, did I, Ian? What did I do?
Well, you also put Ian Harold Beckles on the. That's why I knew something was up. You know what I'm saying? I knew something was up.
Yeah.
So, and first of all, I don't want your listeners to think that you did that because you felt bad. You did it to be a dick. Don't tell me, because right? Am I right?
Fair.
Okay, there you go. Let's just go. I know you.
Fair.
I know you.
Did you see the note that I put inside?
I didn't see a note.
Oh, there was a note inside the package.
I didn't see a note. That's why I assumed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Harold alone let me know.
There was a note inside, and
What
I said, these napkins are because the cost of paper is a lot higher than cloth nowadays.
Facts.
Beck, I love you, man. I'll see you tonight.
All right, brother.
See you. It's always a fun time. Always a fun time with our guy Ian Beckles. Go tonight, guys. A-Loft Midtown. When we show out, we have a lot of people that go to these parties. It's really cool, and it's good, man. The reach to be able to get out there. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. You know I'm everywhere. Like and subscribe on YouTube as well. While I got you here, let's take a look at our pal, the Honest Hammer. He is all over the place. Follow him on social media as well, the Honest Hammer. He's freaking hilarious. You gotta love Russ and the crew. go. There we go. Yeah, so if you want to hang out tonight, Aloft, Midtown, come check us out. The Honest Hammer, 813-244-0956. Build with them. Look at the website, man. So clean. All the different things that they do. And listen, they're licensed and insured Florida General Contractor, CGC 153-1166. No project too big, no project too small. Bathroom and kitchen remodels, new and commercial construction. You got a new home, like you're trying to build a new home, you got a plot of land. They're in the middle of 2 of those new builds right now. Incredible. Unbelievable. If you have interior structural renovations, you want to build onto your house, you want to make a change to your dream home, they can definitely help you out. Tell them you heard it right here on the Recher podcast, and you can get a discount. 813-244-0956. Honest Hammer General Contractor Company, CGC 153-116. thehonesthammer@gmail.com. He's a Tampa Bay sports fan like you. He's jacked up because of the USF victory on Saturday night against FAU. He's ready for Memphis this weekend. Of course, a big Bucs fan as well. Tonight, 7 o'clock, we know the Bucs take on the Detroit Lions, but love this guy, man. Really do. I don't put my name on something that I don't, swear by and trust. It's all about trust, man. All about trust. And then also, we don't forget Honest Hammer, our first ever sponsor, and then now our friends over at EverHealth. You're looking at everything that's going on with EverHealth. I know they were dealing with a little bit of a phone issue today, but just go check out their website and all the different things that they do. The way that they're able to help you from the cradle to the grave was the big thing that they wanted to articulate for me. Let's see. I always want to make sure that everybody knows all the different notes about EverHealth, because just watching them and being around them, it's so clean. Everybody's so nice. They take Medicaid, Medicare. There's no insurance that they don't take. They have a sliding scale for the uninsured, very low copays for them. They don't want to be a place that you need to go. They want to be a place that you want to go to. They do everything there. Right? For your kids, again, I have a friend that needs to have her daughter talk to somebody, therapist. They'll be able to help you out there. They're not your last resort. They're your first resort. There's 17 locations in Pinellas. It's worth the drive, man. Over the bridge to be able to deal with our friends at EverHealth. They're just so welcoming, so warm. And then the EverHealth Institute. Again, I can't say enough great things about the EverHealth Institute because it's a very similar path to what I took. When I went to the Connecticut School of Broadcasting and I was able to go there and change my life, the EverHealth Institute is that if you want to get into the medical field. Medical assistant, dental assistant, behavioral health tech, radiation tech, pharmacy tech. You have a friend, you have a brother or sister or a son or a daughter or niece or nephew or anybody. They're just looking for a career in the medical field, but they don't know where to start. Maybe they don't have the time or the money to be able to go to a 4-year school. The EverHealth Institute, it really is the place to go. It changes your life. EverHealth.org. Again, tell them that you heard it right here on the Recher podcast. It's really good stuff, man. I'm very fortunate that my 2 partners, Honest Hammer and EverHealth, came on board with us, but also I'm just so proud to be affiliated with them. It means a lot. It really does. Shout out to Honest Hammer. Shout out to EverHealth. We love you guys very, very much. Okay, let's talk about the USF victory over FAU. And if you guys remember, the one thing that I really wanted to see when it came to our USF Bulls last week is I wanted to see a clean game and I wanted to see the defense pick it up. And as I'm walking on the field after the game, I said, it's exactly what we saw. 6 points given up at the half, a touchdown in the third. 48-13 for our USF Bulls. No turnovers of the football at all. Byron Brown, 14 of 24 for 256 and 3 touchdowns. 14 carries for a buck, 111 and another one on the ground. I thought Nakai Davenport, when he came in, ran the football with some ferocity. Jeremiah Coger just continues to get better and better. I mean, you have him, you have Singleton, Chest. Nimrod wasn't even in the game. Neptune comes up with a big catch. Eccles with a touchdown. Sullivan with a touchdown. Moutier Rubin with the catch. There's so many different people that contribute. And then, Matt Harris. American Athletic Defensive Player of the Week. You know what he can do. I mean, I'm a huge Jarvis Lee fan. I think he's incredible. You have Jarvis Lee, Jalen Schuler, and Mac Harris. That's three guys that I would be very surprised if they weren't playing on Sundays in the National Football League. I don't know how you don't draft Mac Harris or Jalen Schuler. I don't, especially with this team as good as they are. And you're going to get a lot of love going in the direction of Byron Brown, deservedly so. But defensively, what Todd Orlando and this crew has been able to do, I mean, you're looking at a team, you know, when you're watching Florida Atlantic, if they were putting up some more points, you say, all right. They won that game against Florida A&M. They scored 56. Then the game against FIU, they lost, but they put up 28. They put 26 up against Memphis, 27 against Rice, 53 against UAB. So if they scored 25 points or so, you're like, all right, I'd want to say 13 against that USF defense. That's a plant in the ground. We're here. We're ready to roll. I love what I saw from that USF defense. And now you're not getting College Game Day because Memphis lost to UAB, but it doesn't take away from the importance of the game. Saturday, high noon, ESPN2, your South Florida Bulls travels to the great state of Tennessee to take on the Memphis Tigers at 6-1. You know that they are going to be chomping at the bit to be able to bounce back from the loss last week, and they gave it a valiant effort to try to come back and tie that game. They just came up a little bit short. I don't care if they're ranked or they're unranked, whatever. USF has to continue to take care of business. Continue to roll. They moved up one spot. They go from 19 in the country to 18 in the country. It's going to be a good one. They have to start on time. Start on time. You know, it's a right time change, so it'll be at 11 o'clock. But if you're the Bulls, follow that same game plan against that you just had against FIU. And I'm not talking about the logistics and the play calling. I'm just talking about the consistency of not turning over the football and playing a clean game. If you do that, listen, mistakes are going to happen. Sometimes you may not execute a drop pass here or there, whatever, right? Take care of business. Play a clean game. Don't hurt yourself. Don't go backwards. Like what we saw against North Texas where you had 3 turnovers in the first half. Can't do that. Can't do that. Take care of business and take care of the little things, and the big things will take care of themselves. Guys, make sure hit that like button if you can. Hit that like button right now as we're watching a bunch of people watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter/X. Everybody right now, take some time out of your day. Kill that like button for me. All the other college football matchups. Miami, I just mentioned 24-21. Embarrassing loss. And for all the people that hate on Carson Beck, you get to revel in the sun there, buddy. 4 interceptions. That last one coming right there at the ends. Crushed Miami fans everywhere. There's still a chance for them to be able to get in there and do some damage come college football playoff time, but you can't lose games like that, man. Can't. Ohio State rolls against Wisconsin. No surprise there. Indiana as well. Texas A&M, a dogfight against Arkansas. 3-point win there. I watched a lot of the Ole Miss Georgia game. And shout out to Kirby Smart. And what they were able to do, hanging in there, winning this game, back and forth affair, right? When Ole Miss jumps out to the lead, you're like, all right, here we go. You got to score touchdowns, not field goals, and that's exactly what they started to do. Ole Miss undefeated going into that game. You know, the quarterback coming back where we're going to see less of Trinidad. We'll see what happens going forward with Lane Kiffin and the crew, but there's just going to be, when you look at the 12 teams in the college football playoff, it'll be really interesting to see how many teams make it outside of the conference champion. Because you look at that game, you look at the Tennessee-Alabama game where the Vols now have 2 losses on the season after losing 37-20 to the Crimson Tide. Who makes it in and who just misses? Because Ole Miss is looking at Tennessee, and you're looking at, right, well, Texas A&M, they're undefeated. Like, this is going to be tough, man. There's going to be some really, really good teams in the SEC that are going to be left out of the college football playoff. And Vanderbilt with a huge win. That's another game that I watched a large chunk of. Diego Pavia, what he was able to do running the football. I mean, talking about the arm, and Garrett Nussmeier was just absolutely crestfallen after that game. I mean, LSU scored the only points in the fourth, and it was a field goal. But the way that Diego Pavia and had the crew ready to grow, and he used his legs, 86 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. It's a different world now with Vandy 6-1. They're another team, right? You look at LSU with 2 losses. I want to look at the rankings right now as of today and just look at all the SEC teams. And I'm not looking. LSU's at 20. Texas 22. I think Texas, I'm not necessarily worried about them. But just let's look at everybody ahead of USF in the SEC. Tennessee, after their loss to the Vols, they dropped 6 spots to 17. You got Missouri at 15. You got Oklahoma at 13. You got Vandy at 10. Ole Miss at 8. Georgia 5. Bama 4. A&M 3. Bro, that's going to be nuts because you're going to get one of those teams. A&M, Bama, Georgia 3. Ole Miss 4. Vandy 5. 5 teams in the top 10. 6 in the top 13 with Oklahoma. Missouri 6-1 with their lone loss while coming to Bama, right? Man, it's going to work itself out, but listen, and I'm not having the conversation of who's better, Big Ten or SEC, because I put so much respect on Ohio State and Indiana being 1 and 2 and Oregon at 6. We talk about 5 of the top 10. They got 3 of the top 6 there with the Big Ten. But man, that battle to see, I tell you what, this is good for. This is good for the ReliaQuest Bowl. The ReliaQuest Bowl, man, that's pretty damn good. You're going to have really, really good teams playing this year in the Big Ten and the SEC. This might be one of the better matchups that we've ever seen. Also from over the weekend, Notre Dame with a 34-24 win over USC. I mean, they did what they should have been doing in the beginning. Jeremiah Love, give him the ball, get the hell out of the way. 24 carries for 228. Huge performance from him. The Holy War, I was really pulling for Utah on this one because I thought it would have helped USF climb, over BYU, but there you go. 24-21 victory for BYU over the Utes. Missouri beats Auburn 23-17. Texas with a really ugly victory, 16-13 over Kentucky, and then UAB 31-24 over Memphis. They had it at the end, but a really nice moment as Coach Mortensen, remember his dad, Chris, from his times at ESPN, being able to go in there and win that game. Does it hurt USF or does it help USF? I think when you look at it, would they have gotten College Game Day? Maybe. But with that being said, I think it also helps you, puts a little bit of a buffer, a little bit of a cushion, where if you lose a game down the stretch, maybe to somebody that's not a team like that, it could help you. Like, let's say USF wins this game against Memphis. They have 2 losses in the conference, and then USF ends up losing the game later on in the year, right? That's definitely going to help you. Just 1 loss in the conference. But USF, everything is right in front of them. Everything's right in front of them. And also, with that being said, I got a J Retro discount. Heck yeah, LFG. I think, am I right? A J Retro discount? Heck yeah, right here on Honest Hammer. Go check them out. Tell them you get a little bit of a discount for joining us here on the show. Is that right? I don't want to speak out of turn. I thought we said something like that. Did I misspeak? I'm sorry if I misspoke, Hammer. I love you, buddy. Tell me what we can do for our viewers here on the program. Alex Golesh said a couple weeks ago that he's not listening to outside noise, and he's just focused on the task at hand. Discount code JNC is for lightninginsider.com with our pal Eric Erlinson. But I want you guys to understand something about this entire thing. When it comes to Alex Golesh, his name is going to be bandied about a lot over the next couple of months. And it's not just because the openings, it's because of who the openings are. When you talk about Florida State's going to be open at the end of the season. You don't have those conversations, and you don't lose as many conference games as you have. You're on a 4-game losing streak. Like, if you're already having that type of thing, we should have Zach. Cold call Zach. He's a little busy, man, but we should have definitely had him on to check in. I hope he's doing okay. Billy's finally fired, so I'm sure he's pretty happy today. But with that being said, Golesh's name is going to be discussed a lot over the next couple of months. You got to get used to it. And if he ends up taking one of those jobs, he did it because he thinks it's the best thing for him and his family. It's hard to dispute that. It's hard to disagree with a guy like that. You would hope that he would stay here. You would hope that he would see this team through to the new building, right? To the new stadium. But that's not always how it goes, right? This is a guy that's coached at Tennessee before. He knows what SEC football is like. To get a job like Florida, again, I'm not a Gator, but to get a job like Florida or Florida State, like that could be a job that, man, you win there. I mean, you're going to get every resource humanly possible. You don't have to deal with any type of issues when it comes to recruiting. You're getting big-time matchups. You're on national TV. I mean, like, obviously the salary is going to be a lot higher there than in other schools. If he ends up taking the job, then more power to him. Again, I have the insight on one guy that would be a perfect fit with the Bulls if Alex Golesh was to move on, but I don't want to talk about that, and I don't want to speculate on that until Alex leaves, if he does. And there's no guarantee he is either, because there is something to be said about him being a dad, him having young children, him looking at what's going on with USF and Brian Hodgson and all the different coaches here, and just it's different, man. It's different. Yeah. Nick Saban at Florida? No, I don't think so. I don't think so at all. No, sir, at all. I think he's happy where he's at to go all in and to see what's going on with the transfer portal. And I don't think that he's going to get back into it. Two more years of McGuire. Beautiful. I don't know what that means. Don't know what that means. All right, let's talk about the rest of the NFL slate, everything that we saw on the NFL side, including that incredible comeback from Denver. They're down 19-0 in the fourth quarter against the Giants. They score 33 points. It doesn't even look right when you look at the box score. It doesn't even look right. Bo Nix threw the ball 50 times, 279 yards, 48 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Absolutely destroyed my fantasy team. Killed me. The injuries to Paulson Adebo and to Javon Holland really hurt the Giants yesterday, and they just ran out of steam. And you're talking about a team with a veteran coach that knows how to run in Sean Payton. And, a team with Brian Daboll, who, his job is saved because of how well Jackson Dart's been playing. But, Dart threw the ball 15 times yesterday for 33 yards. He only ran it 5 for 11. And I don't quite understand why you have a quarterback with an incredible ability to run the football and you don't call any design runs for him. You don't encourage him to be more creative outside of the pocket. Like, that's what helped them beat the Chargers a couple of weeks ago. The fact that he looked so scared, it reminded me of a couple of years ago when Lamar Jackson got to the AFC Championship game against Kansas City. And for some reason, he got into a situation of where he wanted to just prove to everybody that he can throw the ball in the pocket. Like, I'm just going to stay in the pocket. I just want to prove to you I can be a passer. Who cares, man? Who cares? Just go out there and win the football game. You're worried about these other narratives. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And that's where I think you got into a situation of, like, he was just so worried about doing that. I don't get it. I don't get it. Hold on. Somebody just said 2 more years of McGuire. Talking about Harry McGuire. I haven't seen that. We'll get onto that in a little bit. At 1:30, we'll get into the Harry McGuire and all that jazz. Nancy Carroll, Coach Alex Golesh needs to do what's best for him and his family. Hopefully that's at USF right now. Benny, I hope he stays for as long as possible. Dolan, those Charger unis were loud as hell. Yeah, they looked yellow. They looked like the Savannah Bananas. And Dolan, you're right. You said the Jets were going to win their first game almost like horseshoes and hand grenades. I was just trying to breathe some life into their existence. I was trying to help. Just didn't help. Didn't do it. Jets lose again. 0-7. I don't know, man. Just, for me, Aaron Glenn's not the guy. Team looks underprepared. He's getting pissed off with the media in New York. Like, dude, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think? David Terry, Dan landing the FSU, please. I don't know if he'll ever leave your Oregon. He has all the resources in the world. You're there in the Pacific Northwest doing your thing. Just leave him out there. Other games in the NFL. But yes, again, Jackson Dart should not run the football. Go out there and accentuate all the strengths that you have. But the fact that he played like that, it made little sense to me whatsoever. Watching the games over the weekend too, I look at Dallas, right? And they win this game. It's like Dallas, they have some games where they just put it on people. And they're 3-3-1. I get it. But they have these games where it's like, man, Dak looks like he's unbeatable. CeeDee Lamb, 100 yards, touchdown. Their special teams with Kevontae Turpin in the run game and Brandon Aubrey, who, bro, if he kicks like this, you may be talking about a guy that go down as one of the best kickers of all time. He's 60 yards. He's got more 60-yard field goals than anybody in the history of the game already. The Cowboys are a scary matchup, man, because I don't know how good they are. I don't know how deep they are, but they're feeling themselves. They're feeling pretty good about themselves, that's for sure. Let's see. Embarrassing performance by the Jaguars on Sunday morning. Again, waking up for these London games, wherever the games are next week. I think they're in Berlin and Madrid. I wouldn't do it. These games are just so crappy. And just look at the coaching difference and how good Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay, like putting him in the right position, the way that they're able to move things around. We talked about Travis Hunter a little bit with Ian Beckles. Great to see him kind of have a little bit of a coming out party. 8 catches for 101 yards. He scored the lone touchdown for the Jags. But those good vibes for Jacksonville we saw a couple of weeks ago when they were 4-1. Now they're sitting at 4-3. And awfully tough to be able to make, the division's kind of slipping away from them with how good the Colts are playing. We'll talk more about them. Bears 26-14 over the Saints. Not much of a surprise. That game was not the prettiest one to watch, that's for sure. Browns 31, Dolphins 6. Quinshon Junkins showing like that dude was ready to go. 3 touchdowns on the ground. Run, rabbit, run. When I saw the initial score for that, I went back and I'm like, oh, Dylan Gabriel must have had a good game. 13 of 18 for 116 yards. That was it. Manager, short throws. Don't turn the football over. Don't beat yourselves. That's what you got. And the Dolphins, am I surprised that Mike McDaniel still has a job today? Yes. Because I thought that today we would be talking about Billy Napier losing his job and Mike McDaniel losing his job as well. Pats 31-13. New England at 5-2. Mike Vrabel. I mean, we talk so much about the job that Todd Bowles has been able to do this year. I mean, Shane Steichen obviously deserves a lot of credit. The Colts are 6-1 themselves. Watch out for Mike Vrabel, man. I don't know if anybody saw this coming in. The most impressive thing, not that they're just 5-2, but 4-0 on the road. That means a lot. It's not just home cooking. The worst performance all weekend was by the Las Vegas Raiders. 31-0. Nobody wants to play the Chiefs again. They seem to have found their groove. Rashee Rice out there helping the team in his first game back. The Chiefs knelt with the ball, victory formation before the 2-minute warning, and with the Raiders having all 3 of their timeouts. Pity? Aura? I don't know. But it's not look good with the Raiders. They need to clean house. Like, if they're going to roll with Pete Carroll, Spytek, and Brady, dude, you got to clean house. No Band-Aids. This is like open heart surgery. You got to do something. Eagles with a solid win over the Vikings. Still wasn't pretty, but they did their thing. 28-22 over the Vikings. Big pick 6 by Jalix Hunt in that one. I'm not going to mention the Panthers and the Jets. Again, one of the most impressive wins of the weekend. The Colts over the Chargers on the road, man. These guys just putting up points, finding a way to win. They're sticking to what they do well, running the football with Jonathan Taylor. 94 yards on the ground, 3 touchdowns. I mean, Harbaugh and the Chargers, I know they're dealing with a bunch of injuries, and everybody loves Justin Herbert threw for 420 yards. But the Colts they continue to churn victories. 6-1, the best record in the National Football League. You got to tip your hat. Todd Bowles, Shane Steichen, and Mike Vrabel. Those are your top 3 for me when it comes to coaches of the year. Packers 26, 27, Cardinals 23. Kyler Murray out for that one. Jacoby Brissett, I thought, did a pretty good job. Trey McBride, 10 catches for 74 yards and 2 touchdowns. For me, Trey McBride is the best tight end in the game right now. Best tight end in the game. He is just a guy that every single week comes up with big plays. He's the ultimate outlet for whether it's Jacoby Brissett or Kyler Murray, whoever's in the game. But I told you before, and I'll tell you again, I look at this situation with Arizona, and it's not getting any better. And I don't think Jonathan Gannon makes it through the year. 5 straight losses. And I just mentioned a team that they play next. They have a bye this week. They come back. Does Jonathan Gannon get fired during the bye? Maybe. But when they come back, they go to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. They're not winning that game. They're not. Dallas is better than them. Following week, travel to Seattle. They're not going to win that game either. And then home to the 49ers. Bro, if they lose 8 in a row, there's no way Gannon still has a job by the time they play the Jaguars, November 23rd. If they do, let's say they win that game, the very next week, they go to Tampa to take on the Bucs. Then home for the Rams, on the road for Houston, home for the Falcons, on the road to Cincinnati and the Rams. Like, I just don't see it. I don't think he makes it through the year. Jonathan Gannon. What's the opposite of discombobulated? Bobulated. Bobulated? I think bobulated sounds good. And then the game last night on Sunday Night Football, we were all 49ers fans in that one as the San Francisco 49ers were taking on the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons lose 20-10. Really didn't get George Kittle involved, which pissed me off in my fantasy team. Christian McCaffrey, fantastic. I faced him, so he killed me. 20-10, San Francisco. There was a play there on third down where the Falcons only had 10 guys on the field. Like, the Falcons are a team that they can't get out of their own way. There's talent on the team. But the little faith that I have in Raheem Morris, like, I just don't think he's a very good head coach. It's not personal. We have a lot of mutual friends. He likes, there's a lot of people that I get along with that I consider friends that I know they're friends with him, but it's just like, I can only judge you from what I've seen. And now was the head coach of the Buccaneers and now the head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. And I just see a lot of times where things like that happen. Clock mismanagement, timeouts taken or not taken. Like, it's strange. And they have talent. I mean, you have the best running back in the game, probably right now, in Bijan Robinson. Michael Penix Jr., he's tough as nails. He's good enough. Drake London is good, right? They've invested a lot in their offensive line. I like Tyler Algier as their backup. All these draft picks and being able to rush the passer, like, they seem like a solid team. But it's just where it ends. I think he hurts them more than he helps them. And I just look at with them and the Buccaneers, and listen, if it's a divisional matchup, you never know, right? You really never know. I don't know, man. I don't look at him and go like, that's the guy that's going to lead them to the Super Bowl. And it helps us. It does. I don't even know where his ceiling is. And Eddie's like, I'll take Morris over McDaniels anytime, bro, and twice on Sunday. Maybe. I don't know, though, man. I don't. Because I don't even know if he could reach that height that McDaniels had with the Dolphins a couple of years ago. Mike McDaniels is in a place where the shtick is over in Miami. It's time to come out with a new album. It's like you go to the same club and you're playing the same songs every weekend over and over and over and over again. And then it's like you have these 12 songs. They were great at a time, but it's like, all right, we need some new material. The Dolphins need some new material. Mike McDaniels needs new material. You're just delaying the inevitable because he needs to be, and I'm saying, like, I don't ever want to call for somebody's job ever. But I'm just surprised because it's going to happen. I'm not saying I think it should because I don't like that kind of thing. They scored 72, bro. That's huge. They made it to the playoffs. Raheem's not done yet. Right? Big difference. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, a little bit of everything. Again, make sure that you like and subscribe on YouTube. Guys, kill that like button if you're watching it here live or watching it later. Kill that like button for me. Go check us out tonight. Aloft, Midtown, top floor. We're watching the game. Ian Beckles, the entire crew, come on out, support us. Aloft in Midtown. I'll be there a little late, but I will definitely be there. Come hang out. No invitation needed. That place is going to be packed. Come on out and say hello to everybody that is going to be out there. Okay, let's finish the program talking about everything else that went on this weekend. Hit that like button while you're watching. Hit it. Boom, boom, boom. Guys, the Tampa Bay Lightning. 2-1 loss Friday night in overtime to Detroit. 3-2 loss against the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're back in action on Thursday at home. When I'm watching this team, I don't necessarily know if the questions that I had before the year are going to be answered. When this team went into the offseason, I said, I don't like that their whole thought process is we're just going to make minor tweaks. We're close. I didn't think so. Like, I'm there watching it. And I'm not trying to talk crap about people here in the Tampa Bay area, but like, I don't rely so much on hearing what other people have to say on what they see with this team. The sport we do that the least is with football, because everybody knows football. You played football. It's the most popular sport. But think about it. When it comes to hockey, right, it's not as popular. A lot of people are fans. They've never skated before. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I don't necessarily wait for Eric or Ed or any of these people to kind of tell me, like, I trust myself. I trust my eyes. And it doesn't mean that my opinions are always right. I'm not saying that. But the things that stand out to me, I don't necessarily hear from a lot of other people. And mind you, when half of the media that cover the Lightning work for the team, that also has something to do with it as well. I still don't like the defensive structure of this team. I still don't think that the right guys are getting the right opportunities. I mean, Nikita Kucherov being out with a sickness, what does that mean? Hopefully it's just a sickness and he'll be back on Thursday. A lot of time off between these two games on Saturday and also this Thursday coming up, which is at home against the Chicago Blackhawks. The vibes right now with this team are not great when it comes to the outside looking in. I'm not saying there's anything disconcerting with, the chemistry with the team or anything, but you got to put things in perspective here. Ryan McDonough's not getting any younger. Victor Hedman's not getting any younger. And those are two guys that you're relying on a lot on defense. You're getting goals from McDonough. You're not getting goals from, you're looking at the sources of where you're getting your points. And look so far through the season, right? We're talking about 6 games in. And Chafee's got no points. Geeky's got 1. Hagel's got 1. He's a -5. Chernak's got 1. Moser's got 2, right? Gage Gonsalves has 3 assists. That's it. I'm watching this team, and I see a Braden Point at a -8. I see Nikita Kucherov at a -8. And I know it's not the end-all, be-all statistics, but at the end of the day, it is a statistic that you look at even just on the surface. And you know that for the most part, you're on the ice for 8 less goals than you've scored. And I know there's a variable when it comes to being shorthanded and things like that. I get that. But even then, if one of your minuses comes when you're on the power play, that's even worse. And Cooch doesn't kill penalties. Point doesn't kill penalties. So you're not making up for it on the other side by scoring shorthanded. There's something off with this team. And I don't know if it's going back to the whole Steven Stamkos thing where it's a lack of leadership. But I'll tell you one thing. The whole fact that everybody was blaming Steven Stamkos for the 5-on-5 play was, again, one of the stupidest things ever on the outside. But it was also something that was inevitable. Because when you look at it, Jake Gensel's a really good 5-on-5 player. So he's going to help you in that aspect. You also traded out a guy like Mikhail Sergachev, who had some defensive miscues in his game, and brought in J.J. Moser, who's a lot more defensively sound. You brought in Ronnie McDonough, who in the last 10 years is probably one of the top 5 defensive defensemen in the entire NHL. So not only does his game play for this team, but it also makes Eric Chernak better, right? So you look at that. 1, The impact of those moves. And then, you also have Andre Vasilevsky not coming off of a back injury. So all these different things have nothing to do with Steven Stamkos. You were just naturally going to be better defensively. I knew that it was going to be better even before the season even started. And it was almost like he was the scapegoat. And I just think that's complete and utter bullshit because of all he brought to the table here. It's strange, man. I just feel like we're so stuck in what has happened in the past and what has happened like to this team. Like, this is not the same team. It's not. And I don't know the identity of this team, and I know Florida's gone on a little bit of a skid here, but even to start the season without the guys that they have, like Barkov and Matthew Tkachuk, like, this team has to find an identity because I don't like it. I don't like what I'm watching. The team a couple years ago could win a 5-4 game and a 1-0 game. Right now, I don't see any jump. I don't see any juice. I know there's a lot of people that are already being pretty pessimistic about the Lightning. And I also look at Nikita Kucherov and I wonder, okay, like, you're going to have to step up. You're going to have to do your thing. But what happens when Nikita Kucherov doesn't step up? And he's not scoring points. What kind of teammate is he going to be? What kind of leader is he going to be? That's what we're going to have to see. Appreciate all the kind words, guys. Appreciate you. Good on the Rowdies coming away with the victory over the weekend, too. They have one game left Saturday night. Rowdysoccer.com. Go check them out, guys. Go check them out. If they win by 2 and Indy loses, they find a way into the playoffs. Unbelievable. Sun with a 1-1 tie with Jacksonville as well. A lot of great stuff that went on this weekend. Let's see what else. Oh, the ALCS going to a game 7. My goodness. What a game last night. You watch JP Crawford in the base running. Terrible on the ball that hit off the top of the wall from Rivas. That was just a microcosm of the game there. Ernie Clement, triple. Addison Barger, what he was able to do, the 2-run home run, the kid from King High School. Really, really good stuff. And now we got a game 7 tonight. One of the 2 best words in sports. Game 7. The Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Seattle Mariners with the opportunity to go face off with the Dodgers and lose in the World Series. Going to be really, really cool. I'll be tuning into that one for sure. What else happened this weekend? MMA action. Brendan Allen beat DeRitter. DeRitter's corner threw the towel in. A lot of people were not happy with that, but from what we were hearing, that he was dealing with a really bad virus during the week. Shout out to MMA coach Duke Rufus, who passed away at 55 years young. Milwaukee-based. Remember him from what he was able to do with Anthony Pettis during his highlights in the WEC and UFC. He also trained CM Punk. Crazy, man. Crazy stuff. Our thoughts and prayers go out to him. That is for sure. NBA season kicks off tomorrow night. That should be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that. And then we will finish off with the only way to finish off. David Terry. Are you paying attention, David Terry? Nottingham Forest fires Ange Postecoglou on Saturday, 19 minutes after the game was done. Pretty wild. All right. Bayern Munich also won 2-1 over Borussia Dortmund on Saturday in their Klassiker. But we'll finish this off. David Terry's probably pretending like he's not listening right now. David Terry's probably acting like his TV or his laptop or his phone's not working. He's actually trying to act like it didn't happen yesterday. But yesterday at Anfield, the greatest team in the history of the Premier League, the Manchester United Red Devils, baby, win 2-1 over Liverpool. Liverpool, the defending Premier League champions, they're all discombobulated. I'm going to talk about bobulated. They're discombobulated. The opening goal by Brian Mbeumo, hustling back Virgil van Dijk, who people erroneously think is the best center back in the world, not hustling back, yelling at everybody else. They score in the first 62 seconds. Liverpool comes back. a goal later on. Gakpo, who had a lot of chances, he hit the woodwork, I think 2 or 3 times, and then they come all the way back. Harry Maguire with the header to make it 2-1, leading Manchester United. And listen, keep things in perspective. They're in 9th now. Liverpool's 3rd? This is what you need. This is what you need if you're trying to be Manchester United. Because, again, Manchester United, when they are at the top of the Premier League, the sport is just better. It is. Them being in the lower and not playing in Europe, that's not good. But I want to shout out Harry Maguire. Even if you're not a United fan, but I want you to just take a listen to what Harry Maguire went through. This is a guy that was a captain for Manchester United and struggled really bad. And there were bomb threats to his home. There were people saying that he should leave. It affected this was a starting center back for England too. This is a guy that has a couple of silver medals in the Euros and in the World Cup too, maybe, or something. But he's been that guy, and he played better for England than he did for Manchester United. They stripped him of his captaincy, gave it to Bruno Fernandes. They took away his starting spot. There was an opportunity for that guy to be able to say, all right, this didn't work for me. I'm going to be a bad teammate. I'm going to pout and I'm going to moan like we've seen from other Manchester United guys. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to transfer to Bournemouth or some of these other places, Southampton. He didn't do that. He stood up. He answered all the questions. He trained. He busted his ass. And now in the last 2 years, he's been pretty damn good. Huge goal last year in the Europa League, quarterfinals or semifinals over Lyon. When it was like a 7-6 aggregate. One of the best games. You want to watch a game that was nuts? Manchester and Lyon last year in 10 minutes on YouTube. It's the craziest shit you're ever going to see. Man U was down, I think, 5-2 and came back and won in extra time, in stoppage time. It was nuts. But then yesterday, Harry Maguire going out there, scoring a goal. You saw how much it meant to him. But in a day and age where professional athletes, things don't go their way, you get Jazz Chisholm not in the lineup, and he turns his back to the reporters. That's not a leader. That's not a guy that I want to root for. You see these professional athletes where they're, it's me, I, and it's the same old shit all the time. They only care about themselves. And then you have Harry Maguire. I can't say enough great things about the professional athlete that he is. That's the best when it comes to sports. I don't think a lot of people would have faulted him if he would have went somewhere else. Getting bomb threats. Family's getting death threats. He goes out there, stays the course. Is he perfect? No. And obviously he's not the fastest guy, but he's tough as nails. He's not afraid to go up there for a header. I wish there was more pro athletes like him. You hear Carson Beck go up to the podium the other day and he's calling out his receiver on that 4th interception. You hear Tua Tagovailoa talking shit about his teammates. You just see this, so many terrible things. Just the way that they carry themselves, right? Give me a Harry Maguire over a Tua Tagovailoa any day. My guy, Rolly. Great show as always. You can always shout me out as Rolly. As you know, Lady Evil is just a YouTube channel. Oh, I know, buddy. I say Rolly sometimes. I've been saying it Rolly the last couple of times I've been shouting you out. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you so much as well for Eddie Harada with the $2 super chat. Guys, it's the only way we're going to keep this thing rolling is by the super chats and also with the sponsors, our partners, Honest Hammer and Ever Health. A big thank you to my dog, Ian Beckles, for joining us on the program tonight. Or today, excuse me. Go see us tonight. I'll be there a little late, but come by Aloft in Midtown. Go support the Buccaneers. It's going to be a really fun time there. Follow me on all social media platforms, guys. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. A little bit of everything on the program. Take me over to it. Yeah, man. Undefeated. 4-0 quarterback. Freshman year. Flag football. Undefeated. That's how we roll. Follow me for Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Guys, I appreciate all the love and all the support. Tomorrow, hopefully, it's a Victory Tuesday on the program, but should be a good one tonight. 7 o'clock kickoff, Buccaneers and Lions. We'll see what happens. At Jay Recher, don't forget about me. I'll never forget about you. I love you all. We'll see you tomorrow at noon right here on the Jay Recher Podcast. I'm gone.